We grow up believing that life keeps a moral balance sheet, that somehow every good deed is rewarded and every wrong punished. This belief is whispered in childhood stories, echoed in the warnings of our elders, and it lingers with us as if it were an invisible law of existence. Yet if we look honestly at the world, this law doesn't always seem to hold. There are scoundrels who thrive and saints who suffer. There are people who give nothing but love and receive only pain. Some even cry out to God, wondering what past crime they committed to deserve their present suffering. And perhaps that is the deepest sorrow, not just to suffer, but to believe that you deserved it. Asterisk, we've taken the living complexity of existence and reduced it to a cosmic accounting system, as if the universe is a shopkeeper, tallying moral debts and credits. But the world is not a marketplace, and the soul is not a ledger. What many people call karma is often no more than a comforting superstition, a way to impose sense upon a chaotic reality. In its original Sanskrit meaning, the word karma simply means action or doing. It comes from the root kri, meaning to do. It referred to the fact of action itself, but in Indian cultural traditions, it evolved to mean the consequences of one's actions across lifetimes. If one fared well in life, it was believed to be the result of good actions in the past. If one suffered, it was due to misdeeds. Asterisk, this idea wasn't debated. It was the air people breathed, the frame through which reality itself was understood. It became the foundation for a vast worldview in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. In this vision, karma wasn't just cause and effect, it was the architecture of rebirth. With actions in this life determining the circumstances of the next, the purpose of spiritual practice became the cessation of karma. To end the cycle of rebirth known as samsara, to reach liberation, whether called moksha or nirvana. Asterisk. Most have understood this literally, that through certain mental and moral disciplines, one could break free from the machinery of rebirth. But there is another possibility. What if the aim is not to escape some cosmic engine, but to realize that the whole system of karma and rebirth is itself a constructional mental pattern mistaken for external truth? In this light, liberation is not escape from a real bondage, but awakening from an imagined one. The wheel of karma doesn't stop spinning because you change its gears. It stops because you see it was only ever spinning in your mind. Asterisk. 8. For those who lived within that worldview, karma and rebirth were not opinions, they were reality. They were as obvious as the ground beneath one's feet. Just as medieval Europeans took the heavens to be made of crystal spheres or believed the earth to be flat, these views were givens, not theories to be tested, but facts of life. To awaken from such a vision is no small thing. It is to break the frame through which the world is known, a frame so old, so close, that you forget it's even there. And as our ways of understanding the world evolve, such visions fall away not because they are disproven, but because they no longer help us make sense of what we see. Asterisk. Just as science dissolved the layers of Dante's heavens in the West, meditation and insight in the East can dissolve the cosmos of karma. Even within ancient teachings, karma can be heard in two different ways. In one, it is a chain of cause and effect, a deed here, a result there. This is karma, as a sequence of events through time. But there is another interpretation, subtler, and perhaps truer, that karma is not a chain, but the very pattern of action itself, inseparable from its result. Asterisk. In this second view, the doer and the deed are not separate. Cause and effect are not linked by some invisible bridge. They are two faces of one happening. Like the wave and the sea, they arise together. The fall of a tree and the sound it makes are not separate events joined by a cause. They are simply two ways of describing one process. What we often mistake as causality is actually the way we arrange our thoughts. Asterisk. Even something as basic as hunger does not exist as a separate force causing us to eat. Hunger is simply the first taste of eating. And when the body dies for lack of food, we say, it died because it had no food. But really, the absence of food and the end of life are two ways of speaking about one event. Our language divides what is really one. Asterisk. In the same way, we speak of the mind affecting the body or the body affecting the mind. as if they were two different things with some mysterious interaction. But the more we look, the more we realize. The division exists only in thought. Our explanations, rather than solving the mystery, often deepen it. The laws we speak of, whether karma or gravity, are often habits of thought. It's more than discoveries of hidden forces. Asterisk when a stone falls. We say it is because of gravity, as though some cord pulls it downward. But a stone that floated upward, we would not call a stone at all. For to fall is part of what we mean by stone. The sunflower turns to the sun not because it's commanded to, but because that is what it means to be a sunflower. What we call necessity in nature is often just the rules we've made for how we describe things. Asterisk, and this applies to the laws of nature. 2. They are often the patterns of our own minds, the grids we place on the world to make it intelligible. Height, width, depth, and time are not threads woven into nature. They are our own tools for mapping it. Imagine placing a piece of graph, paper over a stream. The water doesn't follow the lines, it flows as it flows. But we use those lines to understand and describe it. Asterisk, so if we speak of karma at all, let it be not as a system of reward and punishment, but as the shape of our living, the resonance between ourselves and the world. You might imagine yourself as an instrument, taking in the world and sending it back out in the same breath. The tone you emit is formed by the world and shapes the world in return. Karma is not the universe keeping score. It is the echo of what you are. The world doesn't repay you, reflects you. Asterisk, what you give is not returned as a separate transaction, but as part of the very world you inhabit. The kindness you give is the kindness you live in. The cruelty you sow is the environment you must breathe. Karma, in this sense, is not a law above you, is the intimacy of being itself. You are not judged or fated. You're participating in the music of existence, playing your part in the harmony or disharmony of things, and the music is yours to choose.